Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. We are Renee and Jared, and together with our family, we are building a life from scratch and off-grid on our 10-acre piece of property in northern Idaho. Our dream started about 7 years ago now, after spending a summer in Haines, Alaska. And after spending that time with our children, completely disconnected, we knew that we wanted something like that for our family. So we wanted our children to have an opportunity to have a childhood rich in the simple things, to know hard work and to feel the true blessings that we were intended to have as humans on this earth. So in 2017, we started searching for some land. And we didn't find this property until 2020, after several years of searching. At times, we felt like we were not going to find the right property. We really wanted something that backed up the state land, and we also didn't think that we could get a loan, so we also needed to find an owner that was willing to carry a contract for us, and that seemed like a tall order, but we never gave up, and all the pieces just fell into place. Today, to say it was a dream come true was an understatement. We felt like we had been given a true miracle, and maybe that's why we choose to affectionately call our land Soul Spaces. So this is what our land looked like on day one. There was a very small cabin with a very small solar setup and a giant mess. A garage, an old condemned manufactured home that needed to be removed. And so much work to do, but the land was amazing. It was so full of ferns and trees and life. 10 acres backing up to thousands of acres of state land. So much wide open spaces to breathe and stretch. Finally, after our long search, and the quiet was so beautiful. We were so eager to build a life that was real and authentic with our very own hands. The first thing that had to get done was the well. Which we built a well house for. It was such a great day to finally get that water. Next, we desperately wanted to break ground on what we thought would be a good sunny place to build a garden. We pretty much used the rocks and logs that we could find on the land to make this garden. We bought a load of compost from a man that had cows, and we also bought the wire for the fencing, but pretty much everything else we just found a way to make it work. Found old fences and gates and got our hands in the soil and started growing our own seeds and preserving and saving our food. Now that we had water, we needed a proper place to shower. So we built a wonderful outdoor bath and shower on the back of our well pump house. As usual, most of the building materials you see us use here are reclaimed pieces, even the bathtub, which I knocked on a man's door and asked if he would be willing to part with it when I found it in his yard. And he told me he would sell it for me for $100, so that's the story of that. In the midst of all this, we had to build an outhouse, and so we made it out of pallet wood, and it was such an upgrade from our current one that we had. Then we really needed and wanted a place to process all the goods coming out of our awesome garden. So we decided to build an outdoor kitchen on the back of an old wood storage on the back of the garage. We got to work framing up and pouring concrete counters, and then also ended up adding walls and cupboards over time. Our whole family helped us with this kitchen, and it just turned out so cute. One unique thing about these concrete counters is that we were given the wrong, or we purchased the wrong kind of concrete, but what ended up happening was we polished it down with these wet sanders, and the rock in the concrete showed through over time after polishing it, and it just turned out so beautiful. You can see all these different colored rocks, so that little mistake ended up being pretty awesome. One cool thing about this kitchen is that it's only separated from the garden by a little walkway. And so when we harvest our vegetables, we just put it on this nice little counter, and then we can bring it on in and start harvesting. So we use a Yeti as the fridge, and we have 5 burners now for when we process and do our canning, and it's just really been amazing. And we can all fit in there, and when we have parties, people can come up and be served from the outside, and it's kind of like just a really cool thing that it turned out to be. So last year we acquired chickens. We hatched them in an incubator, and we absolutely love our chickens. We love them, we love their eggs, we love how funny they are and their personalities, and watching them has just been such a joy, and it's been so good for the whole family. We did have one wild rooster, and he had to go to the soup pot, which was an experience also that was good for us to see where food actually comes from, and so, which is part of the reason why we're doing all this. But the chicken coop turned out great, and we have them in the orchard, so they're happy in there. Now we have come to this cabin. This cabin was so amazing for the 4 years that we lived in it. It was dry, there was no water, just a pretend sink, no toilet, of course, and it was perfect for us. But now, as the boys have gotten bigger, and their sleeping quarters in the attic have just gotten shorter and shorter, we knew we had to build a second story on this cabin, and we wanted to put a bathroom in it as well. So together with our kids again by our sides, we decided to take our cabin apart and put a second story onto it. And this is where we've come to. This is what it's looked like for the past 2 years. This is as far as we got, and had to take a little break and save up some more money. And now we are able to work on it some more, and we're continuing to do the inside, and we have some awesome surprises for the outside. So stick around and see what we are going to be doing. It's going to be really fun. Thank you all for staying around to the end of this video. We love you all. See you next time.